is it visible to you
Yes,
all?
sir, it's visible,
Yes.
very much visible.
Okay, okay, okay. Now is it visible to all?
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, yeah. So the my main topic of discussion in this lecture series is radial basis function and their application to the differential equation. In the recent past, we have multi-dimensional data and huge data, and processing huge data is a big challenge nowadays we are receiving. So we as a mathematician, we are all familiar with Lagrange's interpolation. Mathematician has a very wonderful, beautiful tool that is called Lagrange's interpolation. So if you are having set of points x1, x2, xn, there are n points, and at these points, some values are known, y1, y2, yn, these values are known, we can have a Lagrange's interpolation that gives you a polynomial, and based on that polynomial we can find we can forecast any data at any of the point beyond x1, x2, xn, or inside x1, x2, xn. But the question is, this is one dimension I am talking of. Now when we expand this one dimension to two dimension, so suppose we are having data x1, x2, xn, and y1, y2, yn, and the value of a function f is a function now of two variable x and y, then the value of f of x comma y is given at these points, then we can also have interpolation technique based on Lagrange's interpolation, and same way we can proceed for higher dimension. But the main question is, the processing of this high dimensional data is a time consuming job. You just imagine what kind of algorithm that these Google and Facebook, all these organizations uses, so that in a Google search engine, we are putting a word differential equation, and in a fraction of second, the question is what is the answer is not important. Later on I will discuss, but the question is, in a fraction of second, you are getting the word matched with differential equation. So many links is available to us. So the computing time is very important nowadays. Here, radial basis function is one of an efficient approach that will interpolate the multi-dimensional data, not only multi-dimensional data, on a different kinds of data, maybe uniformly spaced, maybe non-uniformly spaced, any kind of data it can process with a very short computing time. Just to understand the topic, I have started the radial basis function for from the one dimension. So once we understand one dimension, we can similarly move to the higher dimension. So in this presentation, we have Gaussian radial basis function for a non-linear two-point boundary value problem. We discuss second order Gauss radial basis function, high order Gauss radial basis function. High order, that is same as fourth order. High order stands for order greater than 2 is regarded as high order. And we use the application of this high resolution Gauss radial basis function scheme to the linear equation. I will explain the how does this looks like graph of Gauss radial basis function, its algorithmic implementation. I will share with the Python code, and how we can apply it on the nonlinear problem. We will prove the consistency and establish the convergence result obtained from the Gauss radial basis function. And as Professor Harindri, she has told me that I have to give some questions so that you can derive it yourself, and to in order to have thorough understanding of the topic. So I will give you the questions based on what I will discuss, and probably you will have thorough understanding. Now, radial basis function is basically an interpolating technique for scattered data. If I assume R is the distance between 2 points, one of them is X and another is XJ. XJ is some reference point, and this is Euclidean distance. X is some point in omega, and omega is domain here in this particular slide I have taken, it is in R, but it is basically, in fact, it is in Rn. So it can be n-dimensional. So here we have psi is from psi, the radial basis function is defined from R to where R, and it has a different category. The number one is a spline function. So psi R is equal to R raised to the power n. N is odd. But before proceeding further, I would like to say a spline. What is this spline? If you recall, we can we have some knowledge about cubic spline, or before, or anything without just take a simple approximation that ux is equal to a naught x plus a1. I have a function ux, just keep it in the mind, ux is equal to a naught x plus a1. This is a first order linear equation, right? Now I am known with two data. Number one, at x equal to x naught, the data is known to us, which I am going to denote by u naught. Can I put this derivation on the, because there is a WhatsApp group. Can I put this this derivation on the WhatsApp group, because these are the intermediate derivations. So you can immediately refer to the WhatsApp and you can see what I am willing to basically would like to convey. Can I share it on the WhatsApp group of this workshop?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Okay. So that, because mathematics is something that without writing it is, yeah. So you see, I have sent it to the group. Is it available to you all now?
Yes.
Yeah. So here, suppose there are 2 points only known to us, x naught and x1. So this function ux, this is a very simple mathematics. U at x naught is coming out to be a naught x naught plus a1. And at another point, u at x1, it is a naught x1 plus a1. We can write it in the matrix form, x naught 1, x1 1, a naught a1, and right hand side is u x naught and ux. So I have got a matrix system basically for evaluation of the value of a naught a1. Now the question matrix, whether this matrix is invertible, first and foremost question, whether this matrix is invertible. If it is so, then how mathematically we have to prove that this is invertible? Number one. Number two, which is most important, this is a 2 by 2 matrix. If I am giving you 10,000 by 10,000 matrix, or forget 10,000 by 10,000, I am just giving you a 20 by 20 matrix. You go for the computer algebra system available nowadays, Maple, Mathematica, MATLAB, so many computer algebra tools are now available. The computing time for inverting a matrix of 15 by 15 or 20 by 20 matrix is very high, especially when the entries of the matrix are dense. So the big challenge is, how can we treat this matrix? So I'm coming to explain here in this, as I sent in WhatsApp, this, instead of a naught x plus a1, if I have taken here linear polynomial, I can take a cubic polynomial. In that case, it is a cubic spline, polynomial of degree 2, that is a quadratic, quintic spline. You can define the spline of different category of your choice. Next, Most important is thin plate spline, TSP. This spline is frequently used in the graphics design, interpolation of three-dimensional graphics. It is defined as Rn log R. And I am telling you, what is a big challenge compared to a spline in thin plate spline is, probably all of you have noticed what is the big problem. It is log of R. The distance, R is basically distance. It cannot be zero for the two distinct points, but it can approach to zero. It can be very close to zero. Suppose, well, log R is creating problem for us, well known. Log R at R equal to 0 is a problematic for all of us. But when R is suppose 10 raised to the power minus 10, then this 10 raised to the power minus 10 with the limited memory space of our computing facility, it may be regarded as 0. In that case, log R at R equal to 10 raised to the power minus 10 will give you fluctuating result. I am talking in the sense of computing. Please note that mathematically R not equal to 0, log R works very well, fine. But the moment when I am going to compute it practically, for the small value, it is a problem. Is it audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, there is another category, very interesting, that is called multi-quadric radial basis function. And this is defined as a square root of 1 plus R square. The next is inverse multi-quadric. It is 1 by a square root of 1 plus R square. And inverse quadric, psi R is equal to 1 by 1 plus R square. So these are the different, there is another Gaussian radial basis function, which is our main concern in today's discussion. That is psi R is e raised to the power minus R square. Now, in this definition, I have not included a term that is called shape parameter, S-H-A-P-E, shape parameter. I will introduce this shape parameter in the next slide. These are the different category of radial basis function. Based on this, we are going to formulate high order scheme for solving differential equation of linear and non-linear type. Now, our main focus is first start with Gaussian radial basis function. This interpolation function is basically defined as is composed into two parts. Number one is this sigma I is going from 1 to n alpha I psi norm of x minus xi plus px. Px is a polynomial, and this sigma I is going from 1 to n. This consists of basically a radial basis function. Psi, please do not confuse. I have written this norm, psi, all these are just mathematical big symbols. These are very easy things and can be easily understood. So this whatever terms coming inside sigma, you just take it, it is one of a function. Instead, I have written plus px, here you take it, this is suppose qx. So I have written, in a layman language, I have written ux is equal to qx plus qx plus px, where px is a polynomial and qx is a radial basis function. Radial basis function is basically a non-polynomial. It is polynomial, basically stands for when you are having this integer power x raised to the power 1, x raised to the power 2, and so on. Here, in this part, our expressions are not like this. Our expressions are like a non-polynomial function. And the function is, I have defined, it is e raised to the power minus r square. R square is simply the distance between x and a reference point. Maybe x naught you take, origin, I don't mind. Okay. So this ux is an expression written like this. Now this it has a value that is associated with it is alpha I. Alpha I is called RBF weight, and it is obtained from the value whenever we are interpolating some data. As in the WhatsApp file, I have told you that I know the value of u at x0 and x1. Here I know the value of u at xi, which I will denote by ui. I is of course ranging from 1 to n. So here there are constraints. These alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha n are calculated using this condition u at xi equal to ui, along with orthogonality constraint, that is alpha j pi xj equal to 0, where j is going from 1 to n and I is going from 1 to uppercase m. Pi is just a polynomial of degree less than m. That's all. Lowercase m. Here this pi m minus 1 is the space of polynomials. So just a moment. Here pi m minus 1 is the space of polynomials with total degree less than m, and uppercase m equal to n plus m minus 1 by m minus 1. Well, I'm saying if the definition of this ux is only ux equal to px, that is a polynomial, the term consists of sigma is absent therefrom, then this is basically a Lagrange's polynomial kind of things. So if ux equal to px, p is a polynomial of degree n, you can have a Lagrange's interpolation polynomial. All right. Now, I am going to explain what will happen. Whatever I told in the previous slide, I am going to explain it with the help of example. Here, RBF, Gauss RBF is taken as e raised to the power minus r square. Just see what is happening. I am going to take 3 points in a space. A space is our one-dimensional space, omega. So there are 3 points. I have denoted these points by x0, x1, and x2. In that case, from that definition, u at xi is j is going from 0 to 2. So listen, in the definition, I have taken 1 to n. So just the notation point of view, I have now points x0, x1, and x2. That is why here sigma is going from 0 to 2, alpha j, remaining things are exactly same, plus there is a polynomial of degree 2 I have chosen. You may choose a polynomial of degree 3, degree 4, degree 5, whatever degree you wish. You may choose a constant only. It is up to you. It is up to the efficiency, accuracy you are expecting from the interpolating polynomial. That's all. Now, practically, I am telling you, practically a polynomial of degree 3, 4, till degree 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, it gives you substantially good result in the sense of a spline. But if you increase the degree of polynomial, the accuracy does not increase compared to the mathematical effort. Mathematical effort means the level of calculation you require in the higher degree polynomial. You don't expect result that much. So a polynomial of degree 3, 4 reasonably gives you satisfactory result. So here in this case, with the calculation constraint, I have taken a second order polynomial, and here in the sigma I have taken a Gaussian function. Now I have denoted the value of psi at xi minus xj norm like this. Psi 0, 0 stands for the evaluation of psi at norm x0 minus x0. 0, 1 stands for x0 minus x1. 0, 2 stands for x0 minus x2. And this, for I equal to 0, I have this relationship. Sorry. Is this line clear to you all, the first one? This is
Yes, sir.
just the notation. Yes. Similarly, please interrupt at that moment of time so that I can clarify if there is any doubt. Similarly, U1, I will denote U1 stands for, here I have taken I equal to 1. It is psi at x1 minus xj. Xj is different point, 0 to 2. So it is 0, right index 0, 1, 2. And here it is alpha 3 plus alpha 4 x1 plus alpha 5 x1 square. Similarly, at the point x2, I have denoted it by u at x2 is basically denoted by u2, and it is coming out to be this expression. Now, you are having how many weights? You are having alpha 0, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha 4, alpha 5. There are 6 weights are available to you. You have to calculate the value of these weights. At this point of time, I have only 3 equations. So I have to formulate another 3 equations. The word 3 in this case and the word in 3 in the case of polynomial, both may not be same, I am telling you. By chance, here in the case, because I have taken a square polynomial, so it is coming 3 and 3. Next, this is what I have written. Psi ij is basically psi at xi minus xj norm, and ui is the notation for u at xi. Now, what is this orthogonality constraint? In the definition you have seen, P1, our polynomial is polynomial has basis 1, x, x square. So when P1x is 1, when P2x is 2, x, and P3x is x square, we get this kind of relationship. I'm just coming back. This Px I have chosen in our interpolating polynomial alpha 3 plus alpha 4 plus alpha 5 x square. I can write it as alpha 3. I have not written P1x. I can write it here alpha 3 into P1x plus alpha 4 P2x plus alpha 5 P3x, where P1 is 1, P2 is x, and P3 is x square. Now we are having 3 additional equations obtained from the orthogonality condition and 3 equations obtained from the radial basis interpolation. So now I am having 6 equations, 6 unknowns can be easily calculated. Just utilize these last 3 equations and these 3 equations in the matrix form. Just look at this matrix. Is it the same thing what I have derived? I have just written it in the matrix form. Yes. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now look at, I am going to divide here this matrix, the last line, the matrix, coefficient matrix, I am going to divide it into 4 parts. Just see, is my mouse pointer is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So suppose I am keeping one line here, one line and another line here. Okay. So I have basically 4 matrix. One matrix consists of 4 sub matrix. One matrix consists of this psi. Another matrix consists of this 1 x0, x0 square, and so on. Third matrix is again 1 x0, x0 square, and so on. And the fourth matrix is 0. If I divide it into 4 parts, it looks like this. I'm just going to rewrite this matrix in this way. A, P, and this matrix is nothing but the transpose of the matrix P. And this is 0 matrix. And the order of this matrix is, of course, m plus n by m plus n. I have written it in the general form. And here alpha, this is vector. This should be actually bold. So here this alpha stands for this alpha 0 to alpha 5. And this B stands for the first 3 components. And last one is 0. Is this clear to all? I'm just coming back to this slide. This slide here, this part is 0. Left top corner is consist of psi. Right top corner consists of 1 and x. That is your matrix P. Down left corner is P transpose. You see, is it transpose or not?
Yes, sir. It is transpose.
Yeah, this transpose is coming because your condition is orthogonal. Due to orthogonality, it is coming out to be transpose. And this also helps us in solving the matrix system. All right. Now, this is a 6 by 6 matrix, can be easily solved for alpha 0 to alpha 5. Once alpha 0 to alpha 5, the weight function, the weight is calculated. You put all these weights there in the interpolating RBF interpolation. You are having a interpolation function. So in the WhatsApp, I have shared the file. This ux equal to a naught x plus a1. Now, can you take same RBF function, that is Gauss function, and instead of polynomial 2 that I took, you can exercise it. I will send the slide immediately after the presentation. I have not sent the slide before presentation because if there is some typographical mistakes, then that will be rectified during the presentation, and I will rectify it accordingly, and then we'll send it to the Professor Harindri ma'am, and then it is available to you all. So probably after this lecture, in 1 hour, I will send this slide to you all. So I have taken in this presentation, I have taken polynomial of degree 2. You take polynomial of degree 1, what I have sent it on the WhatsApp, and try to derive the weight function. If you have derived this weight function, meaning thereby if you have solved this 5 by 5 or 6 by 6 matrix, you will be an expert in RBF function, I am telling you. So I hope it is clear to you all that how easy this radial basis function network is in the context of I am talking differential equation. I do not know, it has a huge application. When we search the radial basis function, n number of things comes up. But because I understand only differential equations, so I have seen its the beauty in differential equation. Can I proceed further?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I hope it is easy for all of you to calculate the weight. Now, there is one important note. The two particular type of radial basis network, one of them is multi-quadric and thin plate spline, are conditionally positive definite function. The polynomial Px is augmented to equation 1 to guarantee that the resulting interpolation matrix is non-singular. I am telling you, here again, the last line you have got a matrix, and all these psi 0, 0, psi 0, 1, all these are all values. So ultimately, you have to see whether this matrix is invertible or not. So we have to check whether this matrix is non-singular or not. So that is why here this important note, this is especially applicable to two categories. One of them is multi-quadric and thin plate spline. Well, so we have to see whether this matrix is invertible or not. That is why the polynomial P is added to the radial basis function definition. The P, uppercase Px is added. That will ensure you that this matrix is invertible. Even the polynomial Px, you take it as a constant, maybe 1. That makes this matrix non-singular. I am saying once again, it doesn't mean that if you are not taking Px, you are directly using radial basis, then the matrix is not invertible. It is not like this. This is just, please see the language, just to guarantee. The word this stands for, if I do not consider, if we take Px as 0, uppercase Px equal to 0, even in that case, it is possible to get non-singular matrix. Okay. But it is suggested that in these two categories, you can add polynomial terms for the safety measure. All right. This problem does not occur with other type of category. Next, come to the differential equation. D2u by dx square equal to function of x, u, and du by dx. X is in the domain A to B, and this equation, the value of u at left point, that is A, is given as uppercase A, and u at lowercase b equal to uppercase B. So these two are the boundary values given to us for the second order differential equation. Well, this is a mildly non-linear differential equation of second order. For the simplicity, I will begin with the easiest differential equation of second order. D2u by dx square is equal to f of x. Please, d2u by dx square is equal to f of x along with the boundary condition. Right hand side is just a function of x. You can directly integrate twice both the side. You can have u directly. Just bachelor's level integral will give you the solution. Isn't it? Forget this equation. I have taken f as a function of x, comma u, comma du by dx. Forget, you take it in the mind that this is just f of x, function of one variable. Okay, then can all of you solve this differential equation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Now I am going to take xi is equal to a plus I star h. I is going from 0 to no, this is not I, this is L, this is lowercase l, and 0 to uppercase L plus 1, and h is basically a step size b minus a by L plus 1. Be the equispaced nodal points of the domain A to B. So I have a domain A to B. I have formulated L plus 2 including 0. So L plus 2 grid points of this domain. I have partitioned it like this. Why I have taken L plus 2? Because 2 points will be utilized for the boundary values. So we have internal points are 1 to L. So I am having L uppercase L number of internal grid points. And finally, the matrix that we will receive will have order L by L. If you divide this interval into L number of points, then finally you will get L minus 2 by L minus 2 matrix. So it is just the convenient in writing a Python code. I took it this L plus 2 points. Now you are having a domain. L plus 2 points are now known. I will denote UL. UL is equal to U at XL. L is going from 0 to L plus 1 again. Now, I will consider Gauss radial basis function psi r is equal to e raised to the power minus r square. Oh, there is one term that I forget. Let me write this. This is on page 8. Page 8. It is basically psi r is equal to e raised to the power minus c square r square. Listen, basically in the definition I have written psi r is equal to e raised to the power minus r square, but it is better to incorporate the shape parameter, that is c. Here it is actually e raised to the power minus c square r square, where c is a positive real number. Please note that some authors I have seen that they have written this is a positive integer, but I don't know why it is so. It works well for the positive real number. It should not be 0 only. So here psi r is basically e raised to the power minus c square r square. And now onwards, instead of writing psi, I will write uppercase r instead of psi. Why? Because it is easy to write r instead of psi. So what is our aim? Our aim is to construct a 3-point discretization to the equation. This is our equation 5, that yields compact formulation. The word compact formulation stands for memory efficient. These are the 3 words: compact, memory efficient. Is maybe new to you. I'm just telling you what is this memory efficient. What does it mean? Memory and efficient are 2 different words. Memory stands for the entries of matrix that you are going to put in the system will consume as minimum space as possible. This is number 1. Number 2, efficient stands for the processing of these matrix entry should take as minimum time as possible. These are the two things. You can Google this word, memory efficient, memory space efficient. So this is our aim to calculate. Now, I have told so many things, but even if you have not understood a single word, what I told till now, absolutely no problem. The movie now starts. Forget the name RBF. My name is Navneet. Forget it. It is now our R. Here it is R. I am going to define. Being a mathematician, I can define a function R naught x equal to e raised to the power. R naught x equal to e raised to the power minus c square x minus x naught square. Are all of you? Please, whatever I told till now, forget everything. Now just see this R naught. I have defined a function which is e raised to the power. E is our exponential minus c square. C is some positive real number. X minus x naught square. X naught may be some point in the space. Maybe you take 0. I don't mind. So basically, if you take x naught equal to 0, R naught x is a function e raised to the power minus c square x square. Can you all make a plot of it for different values of c? X in a domain minus 1 to 1, minus 2 to 2, whatever. Very easy. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, I am telling you 1 point x naught. With the help of this x naught, I can have on the similar line, there can be another function R1, which is defined as e raised to the power minus c square x minus x whole square. Similarly, R2x is defined as e raised to the power minus c square x minus x2 whole square. Like this, I can define so many functions, R up to R, R3x, R4x, as many points in your space, in your domain. You can define that many R. All right. Please note that C is just a positive quantity. That's all. Now, I have before proceeding further, I would, if time permits, yeah. So listen, before proceeding further, I am telling you what is happening in case of differential equation and its computation. I design an algorithm that gives result in 3 days, and someone other has derived a algorithm which gives result in 3 minutes. Certainly 3 minutes is preferred. Now just try to understand. Suppose I am giving you a matrix, n by n matrix. N by n, or suppose you are having a matrix 5 by 5 matrix, where the diagonal elements of this 5 by 5 matrix is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the remaining elements are 0. It is easy to handle. Similarly, just consider another 5 by 5 matrix where you are having elements on the diagonal, just above diagonal, and just below diagonal. Remaining elements are 0. Means you are having non-zero entries available at the main diagonal, at the just above the main diagonal, that is super diagonal, and just below the main diagonal, that is sub diagonal. So you are having only 3 diagonal entries, which is non-zero. Other elements are 0. Well, handling this matrix is comparatively little harder than the matrix that I told you earlier, which consists of diagonal. Similarly, if you are having a matrix which consists of 5 by 5 matrix, all elements consist of non-zero, handling means finding inverse. I am telling you, checking non-singularity. So if there is a 5 by 5 matrix whose all entries are non-zero, finding inverse will take comparatively more time. So in case of differential equation, in case of ordinary differential equation, one-dimensional problem, if it is possible to design the algorithm in such a way that you can have only three non-zero diagonals, then it is easy to solve, because I am talking of one dimension. So here it is 3 diagonal. If you go to 2 dimension, it is 3 multiplied by 3 square. So you are having 9 diagonals. If you move to the 3 dimension, it is 3 raised to the power 3. I am telling you, 3 3s are 9, 3s are 27 diagonals are there in the matrix for 3-dimensional. Now suppose you have chosen only 3 points. Only 3 points in the domain. You have divided the domain 0 to 1 into 3 parts only. That is 0. Which one is the midpoint? 1 by 3, 2 by 3, and 3 by 3. In that case, the size of matrix is 27. 27 in case of 3-dimensional problem. In case of solving a simple 3-dimensional elliptic equation leads to the 27 by 27 matrix. Manually, it will take another 27 days to find inverse of a 27 by 27 matrix. So, and why we are going to take only 3 points? Because I need more accuracy, so I have to put more number of points in the domain. Suppose I kept 100 points, then in that case our size of the matrix in case of 3 dimension is 100 raised to the power 3. So it is 10 raised to the power how much? 6. 10 raised to the power 6 size of matrix. Our computer do not able to handle such a large data. I am telling you, it will handle, it will take another 3 days, 5 days, 6 days to compute a simple problem. All right. So we'll devise a mechanism which will easy our computational effort. Can I stop here, because here onwards I will start with the approximation of derivative. So I am stopping here.
Yes, sir. You can start.
Okay, because
tomorrow from
you
here only.
already have 1 hour session, and I can understand the pain sitting 2 hours continuously in this pandemic inside home and sitting on the laptop.
But still, we were enjoying, sir. Your topic was very interesting.
So
we
much.
really enjoyed.
So much.
Good evening, sir. Can you send this PPT?
Yeah, sure. I will send after 1 hour.
After it is over,
Okay.
all over, the whole
Okay, sir. Thank you.
whole content will be.
Yeah. If you give me time that if I complete all the content, then because I have not included the references there in the.
Sir, you can just inform us side by side, or you can just post it on the group.
Okay,
if
okay,
possible.
okay. I will send it in the WhatsApp group,
Yes,
but the
yes.
final file I will give you in the last
Yes,
because
sir.
I
Yeah,
have
sure.
to put
Yes,
some
sir. Sure.
corrections.
Sure. We need only after that. First, let's understand.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. So let's conclude here. All the participants, thank you very much. And once again, I thanks Dr. Navneet Jha for being with us and delivering his very, very interesting and, of course, informative lecture. Thank you, sir. We will continue
Thank you,
tomorrow
madam.
at the
Thank
same
you.